she is still here. Hair undone and drifting slow like something pulled beneath the tide. Hollow eyes and quiet hands and all that sorrow locked inside. Standing where the shadows gather, standing where the light has died. And the dead should not be watching, but she never left his side. She was there when the first Jedi knelt and fell beneath his red blade, standing still behind the body in the blood and in the shade. Eyes not angry, eyes not grieving, wearing something worse than rage. Like she'd already mourned the man he was before he went and turned and changed. She was there when the innocent came stumbling through the hall, hands raised up, voices breaking, begging mercy all. He moved through them like the dark required their fall, like a storm he couldn't see through squall. And she stood behind the dying, pressed in the wall, looking on him, standing dark and tall. The gaze upon him made him feel humble and small, and he wishes he could ignore her soft call. In the tank he floats in stillness, in the breathless stinging deep, in the only shade of quiet, close enough to sleep, close enough to sleep. But she drifts outside the glass, their both palms flat against the cold. And her eyes are so forgiving that they swallow out his one very soul. He turns left and she is left, or turns away and she stays near. Every corner of the liquid holds her face beneath the clear. Hair suspended like a halo, white gown bleeding through the deep. And he cannot tell if she is watching over him or she just can't leave. Then he hunted down their son across the cold and endless black. Felt the weight of her behind him every time he turned his back. Like she'd walk beside them always, like she'd always stood in between. The only ghost the dark side could not make unseen. And the rage that drives him forward every single hour starts to hollow, starts to thin, starts to feel like something borrowed from the version of the life he used to live back then, when her hands were warm and living and her voice was still enough to pull him in. Before the dark became his only and the weight of all her blood became his sin. Now he prays into the silence of the nothing that surrounds him just to let him go, to let his armor crack and crumble, let the labored mechanical breathe and finally slow decay until the darkness drops him somewhere at her feet on whichever side we fall. But the thought that carves him open every moment is the fear that she'll recall it all. What if death brings no forgiveness and she looks at him and slowly turns away her face? What if everything he loved and lost cannot survive the man he left in place? What if she is not still watching him out of mercy or out of sweet grace, but because even the dead need somewhere cold to mourn what's been left to waste? What if he crosses over and she cannot bear to look him in the eye? What if the only thing that waits for him is her turning to the sky, turning to the sky? What if love was not enough to bridge the ruin of the years gone by? What if all he gets from her in death is one long, last, quiet goodbye?
Where is Padmé? Is she safe? Is she alright?